It's the 2023 Scene Holiday episode! Ho, 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 ho.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the special holiday episode of The Scene. That is right. This is the holiday episode. I'm so excited for you all to be here. I'm so proud and happy to still be doing this show. I'm joined by my good friend KJ, producer and editor. KJ, happy holidays. How are you, buddy?
Merry Christmas, Justin. So excited to be jumping into a holiday episode and got my cocoa ready. It's going to be great.
Ah, that is amazing. I am so excited to be here. We have a really fun episode for you today. We have a really nice long segment with two guests who I love very much, and we're going to be doing some really fun stuff. But before that, we are going to kick it to a very holiday-filled, holiday-themed theater in a minute. I don't know. Get ready to jump in the snow, my friends, because it's the holiday season and it's the holiday episode. I'm Justin Borak, and I'm so excited to be here. KJ, let's go to theater in a minute.
Theater in a minute.
Thank you, KJ. Now, before we get to our main dish, our The Scene podcast holiday party, if you will, I wanted to give you a Theater in a Minute segment that was a little holiday themed. We all know the infamous theater show A Christmas Carol. I wanted to talk a little bit about the history and all the different productions of A Christmas Carol that happens, because we talk so much about it during this holiday season in the theater world, but do we know exactly where it came from? Probably, but just let me have this. So KJ, start the clock that I will foreseeably always go over, and let's get started with this Theater in a Minute on A Christmas Carol. First off, A Christmas Carol was actually called A Christmas Carol in Prose, Being a Ghost Story of Christmas. That's weird, but it's a novella written by Charles Dickens, first published by Chapman and Hall in 1843. It was illustrated by John Leech. It recounts the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, an elderly miser who is visited by the ghost of his former business partner Jacob Marley and the spirits of Christmas past, present, and yet to come. After these visits, Scrooge is transformed into a kinder, more gentle man. Okay, so let's talk about where this came from. Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol during a period when the British were exploring and reevaluating past Christmas traditions. So carols were just being invented. New customs like cards and Christmas trees were being brought up. Really cool stuff like that. And he was influenced by the experiences of his own youth and by the Christmas stories of other authors, including Washington Irving and Douglas Jerrold. So Dickens wrote 3 different Christmas stories. He was inspired after a trip to Field Lane Ragged School, which is a school where London street children would go to school. And he looked at the treatment of the poor and the ability of a selfish man to redeem himself by transforming into a more sympathetic character based on the treatment of the poor that the rich in London were doing at the time. So he writes A Christmas Carol. He writes the story of this old, decrepit, rich miser who slowly throughout the story gets more sympathetic, and we watch his real life sympathy turn over the evolution of his relationship with Tiny Tim, right? It's published in 1944. It is sold out before Christmas Eve. It is a huge hit from the beginning, straight up from the beginning. So what happened with this show, right? When did it become a play? A Christmas Carol actually was adapted for the stage just 2 weeks after it was created. C.Z. Barnett took the play and it premiered at the Surrey Theatre in early February. So it started adapting in January. It went up literally early February of 1844. So if you were oh, this is a show that started being a play when it hit the public domain in the mid 1900s. Nope, it went into theater format almost immediately. But then after this happened, no one really hit it again until it started jumping into the public domain. Now we all know that there are a ton of Christmas Carol productions, and if you run a theater company and you do a Christmas Carol production, boy oh boy, you probably have written your own, because a lot of people do that, right? A lot of people go out and they write their own Christmas Carol because it's public domain. So here are some theaters that do their own show, that have their own adaptation that they do every year that I think is really wonderful. The Guthrie has a really famous one in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Milwaukee Rep does a really wonderful one. Omaha Community Playhouse, I've heard, has an amazing one. Theater Memphis has an amazing one. The Goodman Theater, I've seen theirs in Chicago, is awesome. South Coast Rep has a great one. All of these really cool. Academy Theater at the Alliance Theater, they do a Christmas Carol every year. All these theaters do an annual Christmas Carol that is so cool. The McCarter Theater in New Jersey, the Hartman Theater in Connecticut. All these theaters have created their own productions, but don't get too worried. There are infamous productions. Obviously, We have the super famous Patrick Stewart Christmas Carol. Was in West End, was on Broadway. He's one of like the people that are known the most with playing Scrooge. One of the most recent brilliant productions of Christmas Carol was in 2021, Jefferson Mays from A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. He played it in a one-person show. He did the entire show, and I've heard it was beautiful. I didn't get to see it. It was on Broadway. I wish I got to, but I heard it was amazing. And then we have like really cool new companies like I talk about this sometimes on the show, but like Star Kid has a really cool comedic one called A VHS Christmas Carol. There was a Christmas Carol, a ghost story that looked more into the ghost that premiered in the West End a few years ago. There's a bunch of really cool adaptations and stuff. There's an adaptation called Humbug by Chuck Puckett. The Royal Shakespeare Company did a new adaptation by David Edgar. So many people have done really cool productions of A Christmas Carol. And I think it's one of those stories that now that we've done it so many times, we can do new things with it that no one's ever expected before. So yeah, that's Christmas Carol. That's what it is. And that's the theater format. I went way over a minute, but it had a lot of history, and I wanted to shout out a ton of theaters that do their own annual Christmas Carol, which I think is very fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head on to the scene Christmas party. Woo! Thank you, KJ, and I want to welcome everybody to the Scene Podcast Christmas Party, because that's where we're at. I'm here joined with two of my friends, two people who have been on the show before, Liz Guttridge and Erica Kuhn. Liz, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Erica, how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much both for asking me.
I wanted to ask her too. Thank you.
That's
Yes,
very fair.
good.
Thank you.
All the listeners know you guys as people who have been on the show, whether it's been me putting you in the situations that you're not prepared for a
Perfect.
segment,
Love it.
or me having you recommend cool, hot plays for young women.
Obviously.
And what I thought would be fun would bring on our two most resident guests and also the people closest to me for the Scene Christmas Party.
Yay!
So, welcome to the Scene Christmas Party that we're having in our home, not at the Scene headquarters in any way whatsoever.
Perfect. It's intimate.
Yes.
It's intimate, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There's fire crackling or some type of holiday themed noise that KJ has put in. Thank you, KJ. And we're gonna do two things on this. This is gonna be a little bit of a longer segment. We all brought all brought a white elephant exchange, if you will, a holiday play that we're gonna pitch to each other. That we're gonna pitch, that we're gonna talk about. That is a real show. And then we're gonna take a little break. And I have a fun prompt for all of us.
Let's do it.
Let's do what every holiday party is, which is structured theatrical entertainment.
Thank God.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, cool. So let's talk about this. I had us all bring a holiday show that we maybe want the world to know a little bit more of. A holiday shows you should know, if you will. And I will start. Is that okay with the room?
It's all right with
I
me.
submit my time.
I submit my time to you. Okay, so the play I wanted to talk about was a play that I found on Dramatist that I liked very much. It's called One Christmas Eve at Evergreen Mall. So you guys both were a part of Community Garden. I'm a big fan of writing vignette plays, and this play is like a wonderful holiday vignette play that gets me very excited. Okay, ready? All right. One Christmas Eve at Evergreen Mall follows 8 intertwined stories in a Midwestern mall on the last day of shopping before the holiday. A diverse cast of characters, from a lovesick Santa to an over-eager mall cop, from a pair of brainy misfit teenagers to a pair of battling actors in a production of A Christmas Carol, from a college freshman to a newlywed couple, navigate first meetings, second chances, and last-minute choices. One Christmas Eve wraps the joys and sorrows of the season into one festive package. I think this is so fun. It's like an absolute blast. It's also written by a bunch of different writers. So like, there's 8 different like plays or scenes in it, and it's What Child Is This and Deck the Halls is written by Lynn Holiday. Goodwill to Men and Hark How the Bells is written by James Hindeman. Home for the Holidays and We Need a Little Christmas is by Arlene Hutton. And then Christmas Eve is Here, Making Spirits Bright, Bearing Gifts We Traverse Afar, and Away in the Manger is written by Craig Pospisil. And I don't know, I've read a couple of Craig's one-smiths. I haven't been able to read the entire thing, but I've read a couple of them, and they're very fun and contemporary and cool, but also being like open for a holiday festive show that I feel like so many people do Christmas Carol or so many people do this or that. This is like such a fun kind of leap away from that while still staying into the genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing the three of us love, it's a mall. So
Oh my gosh,
we
more than
love a
anything.
mall.
Seriously, I also love the idea of setting something like Erica knows this. I love like taking a play and setting it in one place.
You love a location. You love it so much you'll just title it that.
I'll just
It's
title
your
it that.
it's your go-to move.
Community garden. Exactly. Cabin Chronicles. I love
your
locations. I love one location and I love never
He's
leaving.
consistent.
So the idea of like texting 3 of your playwriting buddies and being like, "Hey guys, I want to write a holiday play at the mall. Write a couple scenes." And
You mean the
that's it.
perfect Saturday?
That's awesome.
Come
to
on,
me.
yeah.
That's like a blast.
I love it.
So yeah, one Christmas Eve at Evergreen Mall. It's really right up my alley. I'm pretty sure it's 3 men, 3 women, but I'm pretty sure you can. It's a little bit open to casting. It's like a vignette kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super super fun. One Christmas Eve at Evergreen Mall. I was just so excited to find a cool vignette play that I've never heard of before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a fun one. All right, who's next?
Should we rock paper scissors?
Sure. You ready?
Okay, ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Wait, we did the same
They
thing.
both
Okay,
did
here we go.
scissors.
Here we go. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
You go
I
first. Okay.
Okay, Liz has won.
Okay.
She wrapping papered my Christmas rock.
That was brutal. Okay, so just like Justin said, it's really, really hard to find a play happening around the holiday time that isn't a Christmas Carol. And as much as we love Christmas Carol, we've seen it a million bajillion times, and my brain cannot handle one more. So I went scouring through like a million of my favorite theaters' Instagrams and websites to see what they were doing, and a lot of them were Christmas Carol. And I happened upon La Jolla's Instagram, and I saw that they were doing Christmas Carol, and I was like, oh man, another Christmas Carol. But I was bamboozled. It's not a Christmas
You were
I was
bamboozled.
bamboozled. It's not a Christmas Carol. Next year, so very, very far away, La Jolla is doing Your Local Theater Presents A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens Again by Anna Oya Monch.
That's a great title of a play.
Oh, and reading it was
immediately intrigued.
just as amazing. It was
how'd you get it?
okay. So it was a little underground. It was on NPX, which I feel like was a little bit illegal because they're producing it, but they're producing
If the
it so
playwright
far
leaves
away.
it up, the
She
playwright
left
leaves
it up,
It's
so
fine.
no one can yell at me. But
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
kind of felt like I found a gem, so I
Yeah.
was really, really excited about it.
Yeah, you definitely.
So it's on NPX, and it's basically about this young man who is from New York and is traveling to an undisclosed, I think, town doing Christmas Carol for the Christmas season. And you guys were both in Christmas Carol. Who's his nephew?
Fred.
He's Fred. Okay, so he's Fred, and he's like, oh man, I'm gonna get out of this little town doing this little job, and I'm gonna Zoom and do all these great things. And I went to Juilliard, and everybody sucked it. Which a lot of actors have felt. So it's all about being an actor, and slowly every act or scene, he goes up the ranks, and one year he's Fred, and then he's Mr. Cratchit.
It's like shifting up the Christmas
Nice.
Carol.
He's aging into his new
He's
types.
aging into
Into
Scrooge,
Scrooge?
and
That's
it's
so funny.
so amazing because, like, especially as an actor, it is such a like. I compare it to like a chorus line where like I can't imagine other people enjoying this because this is so my life, and like my heart hurts reading this, but it's so funny. And
It makes
good.
you think of like every really good professional production of Christmas Carol. When you go into an audition, the first thing you hear is, "Oh yeah, their Fred has been their Fred for 19 years."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Cool, so I have no shot."
So I
humbug.
personally have never been in.
Bug.
Oh, God, this
Humbug.
again.
That's so funny.
I've dodged the Christmas Carol bullet so far.
That's very impressive.
But as knowing people that have been in it, like everything that
We
I've
have
heard,
not.
they have not. So sorry. They
I've
have
lived
not.
it.
And from what I've heard from you guys, like this is the perfect play for an actor who's just like
That's really-
kind of tired of overproducing Christmas stuff and like
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
That is just like because I just did a Christmas Carol audition and like I walked in and the first thing I heard was these were the roles that were available because so many people have been a part of it and
Yeah.
you just hope to like get an ensemble track and then
Yeah.
someone else makes it to like Broadway so
Exactly,
then they're rolling.
and
I
they
will say,
age
like,
out.
I've been a named character before, though, and I've also been in the ensemble. Being a party guest is the best role.
Oh, it was
like
awesome.
I don't care to move up.
Yeah, me and our friend Shelby were the 2 ensemble members in our production of Christmas Carol and it was an absolute blast.
Yeah.
It
The
seems
ensemble
like a
rocks.
fun
Yeah.
time. It's amazing. But yeah, it's all set in
That's
the
so
backstage
fun.
of the show, and it's hilarious and amazing. And there's like annoying children walking around being like, my mom's a stage mom, and
What
she
a gem to
makes me-"
find,
I know,
dude.
it was
That's
such
sweet.
a good find. So it's on NPX. If people can't find it, reach out to me because I think everyone should read this. And if there's a way that I can get to California next year, I will freaking be there.
Yeah, that
and
sounds
I
really
wanna
cool.
see
And hopefully it blows
so bad.
up too, because you could do that. What was that? What was the theater that you liked that did? It did a Chekhov play and rep with a modern adaptation.
Studio theater.
Yeah, you could do an awesome like rep situation
Oh, you
of
totally
the
could.
classics upstairs with a high budget and then
Yeah.
ultra low budget. This in like the
my
black
God.
box.
Yeah,
That
because
is
this is
very
like
cool.
in a crappy green room.
They'd be
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Oh, that is just like No Sisters.
Oh man,
Yeah.
the
I didn't
the
know.
opportunity is there.
Oh
That's
yeah,
so good.
absolutely. It was such a good read. I loved it.
Well, good
Hilarious, amazing.
Yeah, sweet.
Nice.
All right, Erica, close us out. For
All right,
segment
I'm gonna
one.
close this out strong. So obviously, I picked a Paula Vogel play. This is one actually that I think I'm aware of all her plays. I haven't actually read all of them, which is shameful. But on our podcast, Play to Z, for a holiday episode, you brought up her play, The Long Christmas Ride Home.
So good.
And I was like, I've never sat down and read that. So this is very much a holiday play that's more geared towards adults, but I do think that those are difficult to find.
I'm pretty sure this was my first Paula Vogel play I ever read because it was the only one available in the library when you brought her up for
Gosh,
the
this
first
is
time.
this is from our
No, I know.
library at grad school.
Well, you brought her up and you were like, Paula Vogel's awesome. And I think it was in the time when like I had read 5 or 6 plays that you showed me, and I was like, yeah, Paula Vogel is really awesome.
Oh
and then
my
I went
God.
Straight to the library. And
Straight to the
only
library.
play available with this one. And I read it like in one night, and I gave it back, and I was like, I love that she does puppets and stuff.
That's
and you were like,
bananas.
what? And
Yeah.
so I read-
Well, Paula Vogel will go off and just do something interesting, which is
Yeah.
why she is so important and prolific.
Oh,
But
yeah.
This is her play, Long Christmas Ride Home, and it's a puppet play with actors, okay? So something else other people want to know about me is I'm a total geek for puppets. I love that. I think it's amazing. Came out in about 2004, early 2000s. It's available through Dramatist. You can
Yeah.
check it out there. But essentially, she calls it in her kind of intro a fusion of a one-act play and bunraku puppet theater techniques. But then she also adds a caveat of, or more importantly, of one Westerner's misunderstanding of bunraku. The misunderstanding is the key, right? Because she's not someone who's an expert per se in like ancient Japanese puppet theater, not ancient, but old. And she also has some inspo from like Thornton Wilder's one-act plays.
Yeah.
Again, it's not your classic holiday show. She even says to like try and produce it in the before or after the holiday season when like those emotions are more wrought. So like shoot for October, January, which I thought was very cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and essentially the central premise is that it's this family's drive to Christmas dinner at grandma's, but it's just all about the turmoil that happens on the way and when they get there, and then you shoot forward into the future, which is that classic holiday, like, this is the past, this is the future, right? It's got 2 narrators, a musician, plus a dancing minister, plus the 3 children in the family, and they're puppeteered by the actors who will go on to play them as adults.
Yes.
And she says, she's like, you can add, because with bunraku you'd have more than one puppeteer, you'd have multiple, right?
Yeah.
She's like, you can add more, but add a week of rehearsal time. or she's like, you can add more, but if you don't, and it's just random actors puppeteering, like, they'll need the rehearsal time.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's actually very, very difficult. But it's a really simple set. It's actually weirdly producible if you have, puppets around, or you can pull that off. But it's, like, one of the most beautiful things ever. It does combine that, like, traditional Japanese influence, but there's incredible ensemble work and monologues and breath work and scene work. And obviously, if you listen to Play to Z, or if you're my friend, or if you're my mother listening, I'm like a huge sucker for what the playwright actually puts at the beginning or end of the play. And so this edition that I have delivers, I have the TCG edition, not the acting edition. And in this version, it includes letters from Paula Vogel's brother, Carl, at the end, who passed away. And that's like a huge, huge portion of her inspiration, as you can tell from her, like, her body of work and stuff, her everlasting love for him. And, that grief is very, very much cooked into the play, and the character of Stephen is very, very much, I think, inspired by her brother. And so, I don't know, to me, when I think about the holidays, I think, like, my reason for this season is, like, your family, but families are complicated, right? And so, in one of his letters to her at the end, he writes, I worry so much about your living with the family. For God's sake, do not deny anything in yourself for them. Because they were so far away for so long, but, she was closer to the family. Yeah. And she kicks off the collection with this kind of, like, letter to him, essentially. And it's, of course, stunning, and also made me cry a lot. I think Liz was here when I started crying about it, and I was like, hey, I just read this letter. But she said this at the end of her introduction, and this is what I'll end with. Yeah. She says, even if he can no longer write letters to me, I can write letters to him, and so I do in every play. No matter how critics or audiences respond to my plays, I do hope my brother is receiving the letters I send.
That's so sweet.
I get chills when I read that, right? So it's gritty, it's humorous, it's got poetry, it's got puppets, it's got music, it's got amazing ensemble work. It's Long Christmas Ride Home by Paula Vogel.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Paula Vogel. What?
Man.
3 different choices for these holidays.
It really is. Look.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We really hopped the fence here.
Bing,
and I
bang,
liked it a
bong.
lot. I just made up that phrase. Off the fence.
We do.
And while we all think about my creation of a phrase, let's all pour ourselves a mug of hot chocolate while we pass it on to KJ for an ad read. So KJ, take it away, and then we'll come back and finish out this Christmas party.
Hello. Normally you would hear a quick ad read about Broadway Book Club. Instead, we wanted to take a second and thank all of the educators and community programs that make theater possible. We started the scene with the goal to provide teachers and educators a platform to listen, love, and learn about theater. We hope that you continue to join us on this journey as we grow well into 2024 and beyond. Happy holidays from all of us at the scene.
And we're back. Thank you, KJ. Oh, our mugs are full of warm, hot chocolate.
Yummy hot cocoa.
There's an eggnog fountain in the corner.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. The budget for this is amazing.
I set this party up like crazy, knowing it was an audio medium.
Hair smells like cinnamon.
Yeah, I did that. I made all of our hair
did
smell like
that.
cinnamon.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Magical.
Okay, so this before we head out, I know that all three of us are very large in reading contemporary theater, and some of us are theater makers, some of us love new works, all of that stuff. I wanted to pose a prompt that I gave us all like a day ago to think about. Mm-hmm. What is a current piece of holiday media, a film, a TV show, a book, something of that you think would be great on the stage? I love these kind of scenarios.
I love these.
I love these so much.
So much.
I'll start so I give you guys a little bit more time to
Okay.
do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Alright.
do the same order.
We don't have to rock,
Perfect.
paper, scissors again.
Yeah, we'll do the
Amazing.
same order.
We want battle.
But mine is
Structure.
quick. My favorite holiday film is Polar Express. Mm-hmm. I love it so much. I love the Tom Hanks one. I love that it's like weirdly like in between claymation and animation and stuff.
Right
And wait, really?
A little bit.
I love that.
Nightmare.
I love that movie so much.
I love it though.
So for me, I was like, I want to see this on the stage, but how would I see it on the stage? And there's a theater company that I've actually talked about on this podcast before that I love very much that does really wonderful. Right when you were talking about the Paula Vogel play, I was like, oh, I don't know if you know about these guys, but you would love them. They're called Pigpen Theater Company. Have you heard of them before?
I don't know. It
So
kind of
they-
seems like something you've brought up, but I'm not super
think
familiar.
I have. So they've done a lot of stuff, but they work in like how to create a story on stage that shouldn't be a story on the stage. So like their biggest thing is happening right now, and it's coming to Broadway. They wrote the music and lyrics for Water for Elephants.
Oh.
Yeah, that's coming to Broadway. They also wrote the Tale of Despereaux musical.
Oh, I love it.
That was like the famous like play about, or the famous movie, the animation movie about like the mouse.
The mouse with the
Oh,
big
yeah,
ears.
The
yeah.
mouse with the big ears.
Okay, yeah.
Adorable.
They made that a musical, and like for example, when they did that, when they got into places where they were like, how do we take our little puppet and make it work, they would go behind a screen and use shadow puppetry. And then when that didn't work, they just made a person the mouse. And they made the story so easy to understand that for a Chicago audience at Writers Theater, where they did it, I'm pretty sure, like they could shift between these three different types of character and like do really well with it, which was really cool. They were shifting between like using all puppets, using half puppets, half people, using half shadow puppets and people,
Yeah.
using half puppets, half shadow.
Oh,
It was
I'm into
crazy.
this. I'm obsessed.
It was so
Yeah.
cool. So in my head, I'm like, Polar Express is something that has so many weird things. It is so human in the sense where it's a bunch of kids on a train, but then it's also so not human where they go to Santa's workshop, they go to the North Pole, they have a huge like train skidding across a frozen lake. They have insane stuff, and in my head, the one company that I would trust to take this on is Pigpen Theater Company.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think they would do it so well. They also exclusively write folk music, which I think would be a really, really cool exploration of this film, is like using folk fun like music like that to do it.
Okay, but you gotta leave the hot chocolate number in, obviously, because that is a banger.
Oh yeah, of course. You have to leave the hot chocolate.
have
Or like
to.
make it into a really cool
Oh my
weird.
god, that'd be amazing.
But if you want a couple cool things that they've done, Old Man and the Old Man and the Old Moon, The Nightmare Story, and The Mountain Song are 3 musicals that like you can like actually license and do. Like they wrote them out to do them, which is super cool. Tale of Despereaux and Water for Elephants. Tale of Despereaux is their most recent one. I don't know where you can get the rights to that, but Water for Elephants is coming to Broadway in April. And it's supposed to be super cool. It's
Yeah.
like crazy. Like they wrote the music and lyrics, but I'm pretty sure they were a part of the like conceiving of it down at the Alliance Theater.
It's like circusy, right?
It's super circusy and like puppety. It's really, really cool.
Nice.
So I'm excited that they're getting some mainstream success with Water for Elephants, but also I think they would kill a Polar Express musical. Like,
That'd be sweet.
so good. Okay.
Oh, I want to see that number in real life.
I know,
really
right?
do.
Me too.
Oh,
okay, go. Let's
okay,
go.
amazing. So mine personally, when Justin gave us this prompt, I had to think zero thoughts because I lie awake at night thinking about this one. So my pitch for a movie turned musical is a lot of people don't know that the movie, I don't know what year it came out, Gremlins, is a Christmas movie. A lot of people are shocked about that, but when you watch
She's doing
it,
like a Die Hard.
This
Okay.
is just a cooler Die Hard.
it's a cooler die. It's a campy Die Hard. Are you? We're talking about puppets. Like, are you kidding? The puppets you would put in that. 'Cause
Don't
it's
feed them
set.
milk and cookies.
Do
I love
not
that.
feed
I-
them
I-
milk and cookies.
Yeah.
I don't know what Eric is gonna pick, but I have a feeling none of us are picking something that has mainstream appeal.
Mine might.
Yours
Mine,
might?
in a weird twist, it might.
'Cause
But
so
I want to
far-
hear more about this because this
Yeah.
was not something I
far,
would have ever thought
it's
of.
full
But
of
you're
expressive
exactly
shadow
right.
puppets in a Gremlins adaptation.
Obviously,
We have
okay.
something for everyone on this.
Okay, go
section.
on.
So let me tell you the Gremlins musical, because Gremlins, the
Liz
movie,
also a
is
huge
set-
horror person.
I'm a huge horror movie person. I'm a
lot of-
huge
there's so
80s
much
camp
camp.
kind of
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
And this movie is set like he gets the Gremlin for Christmas. I think his dad like brings him as a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
It's very Christmassy if you rewatch it. And I would set
She's
it.
trying to argue that it is a Christmas
It
movie.
is a Christmas movie.
Like anybody at like a Christmas party being like, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
This counts.
I am that person, except cooler because Gremlins.
Gremlins.
So it's gonna be an '80s jukebox musical, written and orchestrated by the Star Kid guys. Tell me
They would be the ones to do
that's
it
Yeah, for
not
sure.
amazing.
That'd be so niche.
and
That's
it would
perfect.
have like so, you guys asked me what like the genre of music would be, and I think it's gonna be kind of all over the place and have like any sort of ominous titled like 80s song. So I had "Video Killed the Radio Star," obviously, "Talking
Mm-hmm.
in Your Sleep." I think We're Alone Now, and my favorite, Under Pressure. But I think that should be the Gremlins song. Like I want them to sing.
Oh.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Wait, is it Chipmunks vibe where
That's
they
what I
have
was
like
about to
yeah.
Absolutely.
It is?
Oh,
Absolutely.
I
and then
love
there's
that.
the lady gremlin, you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sexy
yeah.
lady
Yeah,
gremlin.
sexy
I
lady
love
gremlin.
her.
I'm so into that.
I want this to happen. Like, please, someone call me up. You can have all my ideas. I just want to see it.
I want to say,
Okay,
I have a feeling that within a Star Kid, if you don't know Star Kid is a theater company that started at University of Michigan. They did the Harry Potter musical, which
Yeah.
is like they're really big for. And right now they're really well known for making these like horror musicals out in
yeah.
LA that are killing. These like Hatchet, it's called like the Hatchetfield trilogy
It's
right
very
now.
Black Friday coded. There's a little
Yeah,
bit
it
of
is.
There's like a small doll in that. That kind of
Yes.
looks like
Oh,
a
100%.
gremlin.
Well, I was going to say, in one of their musicals, they have a doll that kind of looks like a
Yeah.
gremlin. They probably at some point in a meeting was like, we should make a Gremlins musical.
Star Kid guys, please call me up. I just
should.
want to
Yeah.
be in the
Right up
room.
their alley.
I swear to God, if I see this and they
Please.
don't give you credit,
I know.
I'm
The
gonna be
worst.
big mad.
I'm gonna be sad, but
Big
then I
mad.
just want to just give me tickets. That's all I
give me
ask.
Honestly, free trade.
Free trade.
That's so funny.
All right,
that's my pitch.
Erica.
I love it.
All right,
Close us out.
I'm gonna twist it up.
Take us home.
I didn't have to actually think that hard.
I
Because
feel like none of us had to think
I know
that
it's
hard.
it's interesting. Like we
We've
all
been
have
thinking
those
about
holiday
this.
things that we think about.
And this
Mine
is a prompt,
is
This is a prompt that in our home we bring up prompts like this all
all the time. This is just like
If you could make a TV
Casual
show into a
chit-chat.
play, what would you do and why would it have puppets in it?
it's easy. It's
puppety
day to day here.
episode.
Okay, my pick is 2006's The Holiday. Okay,
Oh, I
if you
remember
guys,
you did say
if
this
you
the
don't
other day.
remember what I'm talking about, we're talking about the Nancy Meyers film. Okay, who's Nancy Meyers? Where have you been? Think like those perfect, late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Father of the Bride.
Oh, it's a Cameron
What Women
Diaz
Want.
movie.
Yes.
Jack Black.
She wrote. She was the one who did The Parent Trap. I think that was her directorial debut. The Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap. Okay, that's Nancy Meyers' core. Okay, and then in 2006,
Meyers'
she gave us The Holiday. Okay, Cameron Diaz. Right, we've got Kate Winslet, Jack Black, and yeah, I think we should bring Jack Black back,
Absolutely.
if no one else. I think
in the musical.
I think if
is
we
this
can
a
get
musical or
one,
play?
it's a
Black.
musical.
Jack
Oh, did I
love
not
that
mention?
I love that. Wait, you're writing.
It's a musical.
Whoa!
This is crazy.
No,
Eric.
here's
I'm
the
so
thing.
proud of
It's
you.
a beloved rom-com. Everybody remembers watching this rom-com with their mom for the first time.
Yeah.
It's a perfect rewatch. Like it's terrific. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think we need to utilize a Revolve because you've got the two countries, right? You're
Yeah.
like in LA and you're in England, and you swap. Picture like the last 5 years core, but it's because you're in couple pairings going on opposite sides of the globe. So your Revolve is like rotating you between locations.
Is that like a time
Yeah.
like swap?
And
like a
because the whole premise of it is like very like US and then England, I think that you should have a book and the music like written by two different people. So my proposed combo would be book by Lucy Preble, right? Divide and
Love
Conquer with the
Lucy,
team.
yeah.
Music by Michael Bublé, and it's all Christmas songs.
Oh my god!
And here's the thing.
Dude, I didn't expect you to go there at all.
But I'm right? Because I
Yeah.
don't actually know if Michael Bublé writes his own songs or if he just does those delicious romantic
he
jazzy
writes a little
covers.
bit.
I think he orchestrates a lot.
That's what I want him to do. I want him to come in. I want him to work with Lucy Preble, and I want them to honestly fall in love. I don't know if they're married, but I want them to fall in love, and it would be The Holiday, the musical. Nancy Myers.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Nancy Myers should direct it. I don't care. I'll AD for her.
She should.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll
help her.
I love that we all gave ourselves jobs.
I'll
in
help
these
her take
worlds
it from
shows.
film to stage.
That way
You know
we-
what I mean?
Wait, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is the music in this going to be like Michael Bublé's classic orchestrated holiday hits, or is it going to be like a jukebox musical, or are they making an original score that's holiday themed?
I'm open to opening that up to discussion to the room. I think that there should be some classic standards.
I think so too.
But I also think that if you have like two sets of amazing singers, and we know that Jack Black
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
I think that we shouldn't rule out some like beautiful quartets and harmonies and duets and stuff. So I think it should be
Yeah.
a hybrid.
I think we could do like an almost. Do you know Almost Famous was on Broadway for a little bit?
Yeah.
They did something where like they did. It was an original score, but like they used three, or like Back to the Future,
Or American Psycho.
or American Psycho. They
Mm-hmm.
like used like an original score for like 80% of it, but then had like 4 or 5 songs that were like hits in the movies.
Here's what my dream would be.
Yeah, give me.
They
it.
start singing a beautiful romantic song or a I Hate My Life song, and you think this is a new song I've never heard before. And then there's like a key change into the chorus, and it's a mashup of a Christmas song, right? So like you're thinking like, oh yeah, this is a person, going through this is their inner
They're
emotional
singing this
life.
beautiful ballad, then they go
I
on
get
rocking
it.
around the Christmas
and
tree.
then and then it's kind of like and then you're like, wait a minute, this is, and then the jingle bells, and you're like, wait, and then everybody's singing, and it is that Christmas song,
That's
and you're
so
encouraged
funny.
to sing along if you're in the audience.
Erica
Oh,
Kuhn
that's
needs
so
to write more
fun.
musicals. Everybody hire her.
To write more
I know
music.
nothing about them, but I'm here to give the people what they want.
Yes.
Oh my
you know what's
God.
up.
Everybody's on the nice list.
Guys, speaking of nice list, you're both on the nice list for joining me for the Scene Podcast Christmas
Hey,
party.
thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. You can let me do some quick soft plugs for y'all before we head out to the outro of the show. You can follow Erica on Instagram at actual Erica Kuhn. You can follow Liz on Instagram at
Liz Guttridge.
Liz Guttridge, or on TikTok at
Liz Zizzle.
Nice, perfect. Really good theater content on there. Check us out, me and Erica on Play to Z, our podcast. And also, check out Erica's new Play Exchange and go read Kill the Bird.
Oh, yes, read Kill the Bird.
Go read Kill the Bird.
If
Check
you
it
love the
out.
I plug
holidays
it
musical,
every-
it's exactly the same.
I want you
it's
to
not.
I want you to
Very
know,
different.
Erica, I plug Kill the Bird so much that there's been episodes that you have not been on this show that in my plugs at the end I just say, oh, and go check out Erica Kuhn's Play Exchange and read Kill the Bird.
Well, I appreciate that. Sometimes strangers leave really nice reviews, and I think, you don't even know me. I feel so special.
You don't even know.
I feel so valid.
Go read. Seriously, guys, Kill the Bird is an amazing play. Go read it.
Thank you.
It's a great holiday gift. Happy, whatever you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy. I mean, this is coming out, I think, like a day before Christmas. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Have a wonderful New Year. Don't worry, we are not taking a Monday off, but I'll talk about that probably more in the outro. For now, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the episode. A massive thanks to Liz Guttridge and Erica Kuhn, our two guests who I have on the show often and everyone really enjoys. I love having them on the show, and I loved having our The Scene Podcast Christmas party together. It was very fun. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I hope you learned something. I hope you had some fun. Have an amazing, safe holiday. My name is Justin Borak. Thank you so much for listening to The Scene Podcast. I want to thank my team over at The Scene. I want to thank KJ. Mwah! KJ, happy holidays. I love you so much, buddy. And guys, have a great holiday. Read some freaking plays. And guess what? We're going to be back next Monday. That's right. No breaks over here. Absolutely no breaks. I'm going to end this episode the way I end every episode, which is me doing an impression of a nervous 19-year-old at their first Christmas Carol audition. And that's why the Grinch stole Christmas. And scene. See you guys next week.
The Scene Podcast is made possible by our host Justin Borak, our producer and editor KJ Lampar, and our executive producer Zach Dulli.
Special thanks to Erica Kuhn, Liz Guttridge, Melissa Klein, and Zoe Dick for their special contributions to this episode. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you get your podcast to stay up to date with our latest theater antics. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in 2024.